Under the title in any search result, there is the URL of the web page, or in other words, the web address of the current page. The URL to a document is always displayed as a part of a search result in Google, below the document's title. So, if you want to increase your website's ranking, you should improve the structure of your URLs. On this slide, you see an example of the URL structure. Each URL contains a protocol identifier, a subdomain. The subdomain can be absent, a domain name, a top-level domain. Having a country top-level domain such as .ca, .fr, or .cn help the site rank for that particular country, but limit the site's ability to rank globally, and a requested content. Some URLs are short and easy, but not all of them. Often URLs contain parameters. The URL parameters are used for creating filtered URLs. If you have many different products, instead of their description in your URLs, you can show, for example, their ID numbers which you have given to your items. You can see parameters after the main part of the URL. The question symbol is the symbol of common parameters. For search engine optimization, it is very important to improve the structure of your URLs as more as possible. First of all, choose URLs that are easy for users and search engines to understand, logically constructed, and intelligible to humans. Google is good at crawling all types of URLs, but you should create Google-friendly URLs. As to visitors, they may be intimidated by extremely long and cryptic URLs, so you should create easy URLs if you want people link to your content. Avoid using lengthy URLs with unnecessary parameters and session IDs. Avoid also using odd capitalization of URLs. Many users expect lowercase URLs and remember them better. Create a simple directory structure. Use URLs that make easy for visitors to know where they are on your website and that indicate the type of content users can find at each your URL. Your URLs should be as simple as possible for both users and search engines. Avoid using directory names that have no relation to the content. Users don't like to connect websites that don't relevant what they saw in the search result. Use subfolders and subdomains appropriately. Subdomains are seen by Google as separate domains. In other words, for example, blog.nyzone.com and nyzone.com are considered as different websites when they come to search engine authority. It is a good idea to organize your content using subdirectories on each of your subdomains. Avoid having deep nesting of subdirectories. Use words in your URLs. Using words in the URLs makes your URLs user-friendly. URLs with words that are relevant to your website's content are friendly to visitors. Visitors remember them better and might want to link to them. For example, if somebody is searching for information about the URL structure, the first URL will help users to decide whether to click on that link. The second URL is much less appealing for users. Avoid using a generic page address such as page 1, content 1, or text 1. Have keywords in your URLs. Having a keyword in your URL acts as a relevancy signal. It is helpful for search engine optimization to have your keyword in the domain name as well as in your top-level domain and subdomain names. Avoid using excessive keywords. Use punctuation in your URLs. Using punctuation in your URLs is useful to Google. In your URLs, use hyphens instead of underscores. The first URL in this example is much more useful to Google than the second one. Shorten your URLs by trimming unnecessary parameters. Both URLs in this example have parameters, but first URL is not long, second is both long and unintelligible. Provide one version of the URL to reach a document. If you do find that people are accessing the same content through multiple URLs, choose one of those URLs as your preferred destination and use redirects to send traffic from other URLs to your preferred URL. Use a canonical URL. Instead of redirecting, you can define a canonical URL for content that is available through multiple URLs. Indicate your preferred URL with the canonical tag that should be placed within the head section of your not preferred pages. On this slide, you see an example of the canonical tag in the blue color. Avoid using relative path with the canonical link element. Use the URL structure like the first one. Don't use the relative path with your canonical tag. Use a robots.txt file to block Googlebot's access to problematic URLs. In the robots.txt file, you tell Google and other search engines which pages from your website they may index and which pages you don't allow to index. To see the robots.txt file of any website, add after the main URL /robots.txt and click Enter. If a website has the robots.txt file, you will see it. For example, the main URL is nvyzone.com. We need to add /robots.txt and click Enter. As you see, it is not allowed to index the error pages. Remember, robots.txt doesn't prevent references to your URLs from other websites, and your pages might be found and indexed from other places on the web. To completely stop URLs appearing in Google search results, use the robots.txt in combination with other URL blocking methods. Avoid using the robots.txt file for canonicalization purposes. Remember, URLs are very important for search engine optimization, and you should improve your URLs as more as possible.